Hey, how you doing? Welcome to another chapter of Truth You Never Heard in Church. Who were the 144,000 spoken of in Revelation? Who were they? And I said were, past tense. They've already lived on this planet and left the planet. But who were they? Okay, if we go to one of the places, the primary place they're spoken of in Revelation, where it says, okay, right here, this is Revelation 14 and verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and the voice of great thunder, and I heard a voice of harpers harping with their harps, and they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts, and the elders, and no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits. Okay, they're identified as the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. Now, who were they? First fruits, all right? 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, spoken of in another place. We're going to go back to Acts chapter 2 to find out who they were. Acts chapter 2. Almost there. Oh. And when the day of Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came the sound from heaven as of a mighty rushing wind, and it filled the house where they were sitting. And there appeared unto them cloven tongues, like as unto fire, and it sat on each of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost, and spoke with other tongues, as the Spirit gave them utterance. And there were, okay, are you ready? And there were dwelling at Jerusalem Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Jews, devout men. Now they had come for the celebration of the giving of the law, is what they had come to Jerusalem for. And if you remember from the previous chapter, we were talking about the Galilee gathering, that this Galilee gathering, the people that went to Galilee to see, Jesus called them, he had said to them, but when I am risen, I will go before you into Galilee, and there shall you see me. Paul spoke of them, Luke spoke of them, it was recorded. Okay. So there was 2,000 plus men, 500 men, plus all the women and kids that had gone to Galilee. Jesus gave to them his testimony, starting with Moses and all the prophets, talked about the prophecies about himself. Then they went with him from Galilee up to Jerusalem, and he showed himself alive to them with many infallible proofs for 40 days. And these people that were in Jerusalem, ahead of, after the Passover, 50 days after the Passover, with the celebration of the giving of the law. 50 days, Penta. 50 days after the Passover, when Jesus was crucified on the cross, raised from the dead 3 days later. And then there were Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven, coming to Jerusalem for the celebration of the giving of the law. Okay? And they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men out of every nation under heaven. And when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together, this is verse 6, and were confounded, because every man heard them speak in his own language. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? Now they knew who they were, because the Galileans, the ones that had been to the Galilee gathering, they had been witnessed to by the Galilee gathering men, women, and kids. Over the course of some of them for 40 days. Okay, they had arrived early for the celebration of the giving of the law. They had come from, we're going to see where they came from in just a moment. And they were all amazed and marveled, saying one to another, Behold, are not all these which speak Galileans? And how hear we every man in our own language, wherein we were born? Parthians, Medes, Elamites, dwellers of Mesopotamia, Judea, Cappadocia, Pontus, Asia, Pergia, Pamphylia, Egypt, and parts of Libya, about Cyrene, strangers from Rome, Jews and proselytes, Cretes and Arabians, we do hear them speak in our own tongues the wonderful works of God. And they were all amazed and were in doubt, saying one to another, What meaneth this? Okay, put two and two together, or put one and one together and get two. Put two and two together. Okay, we'll go back to Revelation. What does first fruit mean? The first. Jews, devout men from all over the world, congregating at Jerusalem for the celebration of the giving of the law. And what does it say of them? Being here. These are they which were not defiled with women. Okay. When God speaks of fidelity, okay, there's the natural fidelity, male, female, okay, husband, wife, fidelity. All right, there's the natural, but then there is, when God speaks of things, when he accuses, rightfully so, those that went a-whoring after other gods. When somebody picks up philosophies from Satan's kingdom, principles and philosophies, and takes them into their own mind and heart, philosophies from Satan's kingdom, planting seeds of wickedness, okay? God calls it being unfaithful, adulterous, okay? These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, and they are without fault before the throne of God. Okay. All right. The 144,000, 12,000 from each tribe, coming into Jerusalem for the celebration of the giving of the law. Jerusalem would grow in population at that time by over 1 million people. 144,000, that's only 14% of 1 million. The 144,000, they have already walked on this planet. They are the first fruits. He's called them the first fruits. First. Witnesses, the Galilee gathering bunch that presented the gospel to these guys, to all the people that were coming into Jerusalem. They came for the celebration of the giving of the law. Okay, he taketh away the first that he might establish the second, the new covenant. They were coming they were faithful under the old covenant. They were the cream of the crop, the best of the best, coming into Jerusalem from up to 2,000 miles away. 2,000 miles at that time. That's quite a journey to get there. But that's where they were coming from. And they are, of that bunch, the million that came into Jerusalem, of that bunch was the 144,000. They have already walked on this earth and left the planet. Awesome that they are. But they're on the Heaven Castle ship now. They've left the planet, but they are the first fruits. That's who is being described. Those are the ones being described, the 144,000. Jews, first fruits, devout men out of every nation under heaven. I think it's quite amazing. The amazingness that's locked up in this book that he gave to us. Quite fantastic. Well, there you are. Now you know. Enjoy the journey.